News from Conor's camp. Conor is better than ever, according to him and his tweets. But also, what usually happens is before a Conor fight happens, this is as of recent especially, his whole production company, what is it called, Mac Life? They do the Mac Life. They do this bunch of series of interviews with his coaches. So with John Kavanaugh, Roddy Rich, what's his name? Roddy something. I forget his last name. But they do interviews with them, and it's basically a one-on-one interview where they talk about Conor and what they think about the fight. What do you think the other person that he's facing is going to react to Conor?
He's a hell of a fighter.
Yes, basically the whole interview is about Conor and what he's doing. It's not too much focused on what the negatives Conor's has or of course it's an interview from his camp. What do you expect? So they're very, very interesting interviews. It's fun to watch. It gives it a special feel. Whenever it's a Conor fight, you know to expect these videos to come out. So a couple of videos have come out, and they've talked about, or his camp has talked about, how Conor has fallen in love again with MMA. He's taking a different approach than he did compared to say the Khabib fight, where they said that he was a little bit injured, he wasn't really disciplined, he made his own schedule, and it kind of showed in the octagon as well. His game plan. So there's a lot of stuff that goes around.
I mean, you can't really say that, man, because you compare his performance to the rest of the division, man. He performed very well. He went to the fourth round.
Yeah, no.
This guy.
What I was gonna say,
he walked him down.
Is that even though Conor did probably the best, arguably, against Khabib in terms of trying to beat him, he didn't really prepare, or according to his camp, he didn't really prepare the best. He was a little bit hurt. His foot was the size of a balloon, right? and he didn't really wasn't really disciplined in his approach. But then ever since the Cerrone fight, he's been in this season mentality where he wanted to originally fight in January and then fight 2 or 3 times throughout the year, and treat it as a season.
That didn't happen.
There's many reasons why that didn't happen. Well, in January he fought Don Cerrone, and then he was trying to figure out where he landed in the lightweight picture, because it was Khabib versus Poirier, right? No, or
what's his ranking right now?
Sorry?
He's
top 5
right in the lightweight.
He's top 5. I think 2 or 3, I forget. But anyways, he was kind of stuck in the hustle and bustle of the lightweight division. He didn't know where he fit. The UFC tried to propose him be a substitute fighter for the title fight. So, for instance, if the fight were to fall through, Conor would be the one that comes in and fills in. But he's like, no, I'm not a substitute fighter. I don't do that.
I'm not Michael Chandler.
Yeah. Him and Michael Chandler have 2 different mentalities, but neither one is right or wrong. So, and then the title fight happened, and then he tried to have a fight with Dustin Poirier, and then UFC wasn't really along the ride for that, and then they agreed to do a charity fight.
It was supposed to be a charity fight.
Yeah, so then there's so much that went into it, and then the pandemic hit, and then the UFC probably was put him on the back burner because they wanted to see maybe we can have fans, because a huge portion of our funds from that night, or a big portion.
Well, they're having fans actually in attendance for the fight with Conor and Poirier.
Yeah.
I mean, not too many fans, but there's going to be some.
I think it was 2,000, which is fine.
Which is a lot.
It's in Abu Dhabi. I know that they're a little bit more progressive and ahead of the curve in terms of testing and getting people safe and all that kind of stuff.
They had vaccinations already.
Yeah, they have a lot more resources available to them, or given out to people. So I think 2,000 is fine, as long as they use the same type of approach that they did for everything else.
And what time is this fight gonna be though?
It's gonna be
the same time as a Khabib fight?
Oh no. So I forget what I was listening to. I think it was Dustin Poirier was on an interview or something, and he talked about how this fight is actually on US time, so it's regular.
No way.
Yeah, so they're
no way, really?
They're fighting at like 8 a.m. local time in Abu Dhabi. So I get the reason why they did that.
That might screw them over though, like because if you train there, because I doubt that like you'd be ready at like 8 a.m.
They have so Dustin said that he's already going now, so you'll have like 2 weeks to prepare and get it used to the timing and training and stuff like that. There's other fighters that have done that. There's other times where people they've had fights really early in the morning and it's worked out. I guess it's its own hurdle. It's its own issue that they have to figure out.
To acclimate, right?
To acclimate. But Conor is talking, or his camp is talking about how Dustin Poirier has a lot of hurdles to get over, and he probably will get beat again. They talk about how Dustin Poirier is like a little scared. It's going to be in his mind that he got beat the first time, even though it was so many years ago, which I understand. I get it.
Almost a decade ago, right?
I don't know if it was a decade ago. What are you talking about? It wasn't 10 years ago.
Almost.
It was like 6 years ago, no? 5, 6 years ago.
No, it wasn't 6 years, no.
Okay, you look that up and I'll keep talking. So, I get what they mean. You don't forget getting knocked out by somebody. But at the same time, you also grow and you also have other fights and you learn and you don't. These guys are fighters. Like I get that they will have something in their brain where they are reminded of getting knocked out and they might be a little hesitant. They might be a little bit gun shy, but at the same time, they are fighters, right? Their whole career and what they do is 2014, yeah, so 6 years ago. So yeah, anyway, so they're fighters. So what they do is they drill things over and over and over again. So when they go into the octagon, a lot of times their body just goes on autopilot. They don't necessarily think or like calculate every single strike that they do. When they get in there, they've trained certain combinations. They've trained situations so much that their body just takes over. So for them to for anybody to think that it would be such a big factor that he got knocked out last time, I don't think it will play that much into
I mean, it's a pretty big factor, right? But it's not as big as they're making it out to seem, but it's a big factor.
No,
you got knocked out clean by this guy, right?
Yeah. So if you look at that fight,
also one thing. I was listening to the Faraz Zahabi podcast, like I do every single week.
Yeah.
Right.
You go to sleep to it. Yeah.
This guy, and then
he has a Faraz Zahabi poster above his bed that he's
I actually do, man. That guy is a sick podcaster, sick guy in general.
Okay,
but this guy, anyways, he was talking about the first fight, and he was also saying that with besides him getting KO'd by Conor, this guy has absorbed so many strikes, and his style, like, it's perfect for Conor because he throws a lot of these loopy punches, right? Like hooks and all those kind of things that with Conor, if you just if he walks him down, it's like straight path to a knockout again, right? So
yeah. So we did an analytical or like a fight.
3 of them.
A video that looks into that fight. If you want to look at the video, the top right corner, click it, watch it, come back to this. But if you look at the first fight, the strikes between the two were kind of even. A lot of leg kicks from Dustin Poirier. So he tried to stay at range. But just to know before that, this was at 145 and much earlier in both of their careers, especially Dustin's. Dustin was very emotionally shooken. He was shooketh during that time, where he let Conor get into his head. But if you look at the fight, the way that Dustin Poirier got knocked out was kind of because he was too afraid, or he was too conscious. Not afraid. Let me say it, too conscious of Conor's left hand. So if you look at how he gets knocked out, is he has his right guard up. This is when he's standing. So he has his right guard up all the time. So the reason why he has his right arm up is because he's trying to lessen the blow of any left strike from Conor. Because at that time, and still kind of, Conor really, his whole game surrounds his left hand. So everything he does
The laser pointer.
is like the end goal of everything he does is trying to get you to be hit by his left hand. So in that fight, if you look, Dustin Poirier is very conscious of that left hand. He does not want to get hit by it. So what happens is he has his right guard up, but he turns a little bit too much to his left, where he's over anticipating his Conor's left hand. And Conor, because Dustin is so turned to the left, or like slightly turned to the left, Conor has an opening right between Dustin's ear and the back of his head, and he like precisely hits that.
And
that
Conor's
area.
heavy-handed too, right? So if he lands that, that's
so
a nice way to sleep.
So in that fight, he was so super conscious of Conor's left hand. I don't know if he makes that exact same mistake again. I think Conor does beat him because of his style and his aggression and his ability to hit Dustin Poirier. But the main factor why I think Dustin loses is because Dustin is just more willing to take punches now. Like he just absorbs so many strikes that I don't think you can take that many strikes from Conor, whether it's behind the ear or not. Like even if it's straight on the face,
Well,
right?
In the words of our close friend, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's January 20 something. I forget what date it is. January 23rd. So we'll see what happens at that fight. But everything we see from Conor's camp is positive. I can't wait until we see Conor's one-on-one interview where he's standing there. He has no shirt on, right? I don't want to see. No,
Yo, that's kind of sus, man. That's kind of sus. That's kind of sus. No, that's kind of sus.
He has no shirt on. He's sweaty.
Yo, what are you saying? What is this?
He's just he's standing 6 feet apart from the interviewer, and he just talks. He just I just feel so good.
I love the fight game. I love the fight game.
Okay,
let's go.
How can I make $100 million and still want to fight MMA? There's something in me that needs to fight.
Luckily, I'm very crafty. I'm very crafty with my business. Okay.